Welcome, everybody, to Arsenal Fan Circle here. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome. And welcome to this super Sunday show. Hope everybody's doing well. Listen, I'm a little bit buoyed by watching that Liverpool game and Manchester United stepping forward with a performance. Liverpool, very rocky. So what does that tell me? I mean, being the ever optimist, right? That tells me that this Liverpool team can be caught. We caught them last season, and it could happen again. The disappointing thing is that, of course, we dropped points again in a draw. And look, not every team can do it. Not every team can put runs together, and we are privileged Arsenal as Tom joins us and Steven's in the chat here already as well. But we have was something that's been shocking for this season is we have not put 3 wins together in the league, or more than 3 wins together in the league. We haven't been able to put a sustained run of wins together. We've won 11 games so far and drawn 7. And for me, that's too many, right? And we just lost 2 games. So, but each time we draw right now, with Liverpool being in the lead, it does feel like a loss. Despite that, yesterday against Brighton, we did draw 1-1. Liverpool today looked rocky. It's almost and it's almost at a point where now we are obviously going to be facing into cup games coming up, and we'll talk about the Newcastle game coming up. But we play Manchester United as well in the FA Cup, and it's at a point where we do have to address all 4 competitions equally. I'm with this result today, with Liverpool dropping points, obviously, we are not in the title race until we get better. Arsenal get better and become more efficient in front of goal, overcome injuries and overcome suspensions, and actually be able to use our squad more efficiently. Injuries have not helped. The bug that's been going around the camp has not helped. Odegaard didn't start yesterday. Kai Havertz has not been available for the last 2 games. We had a strong performance against Brentford, and again, we followed up with a pretty poor display against Brighton with the Ethan Nwaneri goal notwithstanding. So, with that being said, I'll get into the comment section and we'll get things going, and we'll see who wants to join us today. Tony, Alonso, and Gary have all been sent invites, so we'll see what happens if they come in or not. Stephen, big up to everyone despite that shit show from the manager. And look, there's situations where our squad is being stretched very thin, and I'm going to look to the ownership and how they will look at January. January is a month where all 4 competitions will be addressed. We're going to play in all 4 competitions for the first time this month. The Carabao Cup, we have a very big semi-final coming up with Newcastle at home. A situation where Eddie Howe and Newcastle are in good form. They've won, I think, the last 6 games in the Premier League. So that will have to be overcome. Arnie Slots in Carabao Cup along with Ange Postecoglou as well. And those are teams who will want to win the Carabao Cup for different reasons. Liverpool, perhaps, turning the corner here in terms of they're slowing down. I think they've had a very good first half of the season. Obviously, they've got a very decent and healthy point advantage over Arsenal, and they seem to be moving quite well. But a game like today, where it could have been called off due to the snow in the north of England, Liverpool, Manchester United game went ahead. Last month, the Everton game in the Merseyside derby, they were spared an Everton team that was coming into form, and we saw the possibility today of the game being postponed and Liverpool having to play 2 extra games, reschedule games. Now there's just the one that they're missing. Both of them are derbies. a big Lancashire. Is it a Lancashire derby? Against Manchester United, traditional rivals, and Merseyside derby against Everton. So yeah, Mikel Arteta's hands are tied a little bit, and will the ownership go out and will the club go out and get a forward for Arsenal to work with? Um, there are other issues as well. Looking at Thomas Partey as our third recognized third right back after the forced absence of Tomiyasu as well. Tomiyasu would be the third right back, but his injuries have made it so Partey stepped up into that third level of right back. So when Ben White is not available and Jurrien Timber is out on suspension, um, Partey, who arguably has been our best midfielder this season, has to play right back. Um, we need to address those situations as well. And if Takahiro Tomiyasu is injured, it's not a situation where Arsenal can continue. We've got to address that. Sell Tomiyasu and get a right back into the club. Stephen goes on to say, let's just get to it. Rice was out of position, and that's some of what I was talking here. Partey out of position. Martinelli called on to play on the wrong side of the pitch. The central defensive midfielder is well past his prime. Calafiori is a defensive liability when you have Tierney on the bench and playing a formation that right now we do not have the right players to play it. And again, injuries have played a part here, Stephen. And the flu, the bug that's going around the camp, has played a part as well. I see Moss has joined us as well. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I really do appreciate it, for joining me on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, wherever you are in this world. Stephen said, throw in the style that failed miserably last season in the first 20 games and cost us the title. And people are wondering why we are struggling. Definitely, I have issues with the way that we have reduced our progressive attacking play. It doesn't look as vibrant and as fast as it had been in previous seasons. It's become a more dogged, control-sensitive style of play as well. And I would like to see us play a little bit faster as well, Stephen, whilst maintaining the set piece play that we have been very good at this season. Stephen goes on to say he's done what Arteta. He has built a good team, but he is a shit manager. The fact we were playing a style that failed miserably last season is a joke. He will have cost us the title again in May. That remains to be seen. Obviously, we did not use Nwaneri in a good way when Odegaard was out injured before November. I'm hoping that he's seen the light when it comes to Nwaneri, and Bukayo Saka's absence will be filled by Ethan Nwaneri moving forward on that right-hand side, who had a very, very tidy game yesterday and scored his second Premier League goal on his first full start, I think it was. His game management has not improved in 2 years, and that is not good enough. He's still making the same mistakes, but with some different players. Arteta out. Look, I've been thinking about this today, Stephen. I mean, my viewpoint on Arteta will definitely change if we do not secure any kind of silverware by the end of the season. We're in a semi-final with Newcastle, a two-legged semi-final, which should balance out and provide the best team over two legs to go into the final. In the final, we may play Liverpool, most likely, who will probably beat that Tottenham team. And I will contend, Arsenal, even without Bukayo Saka, minus Bukayo Saka, but with our best team, we can handle Liverpool. We need Gabriel, we need Saliba, we need a solid back four against their front players, but definitely Timber in there, and or Calafiori or Ben White if he comes back for the final as well. Those are players who should be able to deal with Liverpool. And again, in the FA Cup, we've got Manchester United coming in at the Emirates. Lucky that we have slight bit of luck that we got a home game against Manchester United. I look at it this way, as I thought last season, you get past that third round, and you knock out a big name. Last season was Liverpool. We didn't get there. We didn't beat them. Pretty poor game and knocked out of the FA Cup. It's got to change. It's got to change this month, and next Sunday we'll be playing that Manchester United team at the Emirates as well. Hopefully, the flu will have cleared up for some of our players. Odegaard and Havertz could come back in, um, and we'll be able to take care of Manchester United. You get past Manchester United in the third round of the FA Cup, and you got 4 or 5 more games to play, and um, the next number out of the hat won't most likely won't be a big team, you know. So be Manchester United, then you play maybe a lower league team or a team in the championship, and then you can get past. But I will change my opinion on Mikel Arteta if we do not secure that silverware. And again, talking about all 4 competitions in Premier League, we know what we have to do. I'll talk about that in a second in the Premier League. But we're in a good position in the Champions League, and this month we will play, I think, 2 more games, I believe. I have the list of games of I have the list here. We're going to play Dinamo Zagreb, and we're going to play Girona to finish out in the Champions League. And if we manage the Champions League pretty well, we'll avoid that extra 2 games. That if you finish below 8th place, you will have to play. And the Champions League is something that is not dictated by the PGMOL, not dictated by these referees. And we should get a more fair shake of the tail. You know what I mean? So yeah, we shall see about Mikel Arteta in this season. It's really been a number of seasons. And listen, I think if somebody would have told you after our FA Cup win in 2020 that Mikel Arteta would go 3-4 years without another trophy, you probably wouldn't feel that was true. Off of his first 6 months in management and winning the FA Cup. Steven says, I also want to, and yeah, thank you for everybody in the chat. Drop in your comments. Are you excited about Liverpool dropping points again? Yeah, we dropped points at Brighton. We were down. I was down yesterday checking on that result. I believe the performance was not great as well. But it was a performance we were winning 1-0 and a harsh penalty given against us, and the referees are redefining the criteria for Arsenal to play, and it seems to be just Arsenal as well. Steven said, I also want to know where this supposed great coach is because all I see are players regressing under Arteta. Martinelli, Jesus, Zinchenko, Tierney, and Rice all come to mind. Yeah, listen, I'll go through them one by one, I think. Martinelli, Martinelli has not been consistent. So with Martinelli, 2 seasons ago, he peaked to score 15 goals and 2 assists. Since then, he's regressed. Last season, he regressed. He had injuries last season. And I really think that as Arsenal, I know the other forward players will weigh in with their amount of goals. Our success this season will be determined by Martinelli chipping in. And he did that against Brentford. He started to score again. So there's flashes of Martinelli coming to the fore again. We hope that can happen. Gabriel Jesus came to Arsenal with a lot of hoopla. Had a great first 3 months up to the World Cup. Got injured in the World Cup, and has he been the same player since his injury? Hard to know. Zinchenko. I checked in with my brother-in-law, who's a Manchester City fan. a couple of seasons ago. What is Zinchenko? Who is Zinchenko? What is he like at City? A good squad player, he said, but I'm very good going forward, but defensively, extremely prone defensively. So for us to use Zinchenko in a left back situation, um, and these are the things that I will come back around with on Mikel Arteta. Um, why? Why do you want to experiment with players who are not fullbacks? You know, Zinchenko, I think we can say he's not a fullback. Thomas Partey, I think we can say is not a fullback. Kieran Tierney, injuries again have come to play in him. And last season, Declan Rice was outstanding. I think he had a really good season last season, Declan Rice. Um, but I do think that the likes of Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice and even Ben White to a certain extent, some of the England boys who've been playing a lot of games under Southgate, went through European Championships, and Declan Rice admitted he came back to the start of the season, and he used the start of the season as his preseason because of England's exploits in the European Championships, getting to the final again against Spain. So Declan Rice has definitely been out of form this season. I don't know if you can put it down to Arteta regressing. Certainly, with amongst these five players that you've named, Stephen, there's an argument that you could say he has regressed with Martinelli. I think there's a situation where we could coach and teach Martinelli in a better way, you know. But he's very conscious. Martinelli's a very conscious player defensively, and that's what Mikel Arteta seems to like with his players, being defensively aware and being able to track back. But we do need Martinelli to take on his fullback and get outside of his fullback and whipping crosses, such as Manchester United we saw today against Liverpool. So yeah, listen, I'm going to speed up and try to get through some more of these comments here, and the chat box is going to keep me going today. Stephen, White, Saliba, Partey, Odegaard, and to some extent Gabriel are all great at breaking the lines with their excellent passing, hitting our quick forward on the run, but we rarely do it. Indeed, Ben White hit Saka for Liverpool in our home game. Partey is very, very good at it. Odegaard does like a quick, fast pass. I do think that Arteta favors a more of a controlled game rather than an incisively quick game. We walk the ball up the pitch and do fully develop low blocks, and we wonder why we can't score. We are an opponent's manager's wet train to play against. We're slow and predictable. I think it's a little bit like a time of possession as well. The more control we have of the game, the less likelihood we're going to give our opponents any chance. So let's think about where we were 4 or 5 years ago and understand that we've come a long, long way, and there are players in our squad that need to be moved on, and we're I'm becoming anxious. I'm becoming impatient as to like how much longer do we have to wait, because we're all waiting for this journey to start, and maybe the journey has started, but the first destination on that journey should be picking up a trophy, you know, and then pick up that trophy. If it's the Carabao Cup, that will open up to other things, you know. Steven said, other than the defensive play in the press, there's nothing I like about the way this team plays. And I don't think the players are really happy either. The joy of 2 years is gone. We had joy of 2 years. We had attacking play, but there was also situations, particularly under Ramsdale, that caused our defense to be a little bit leaky at times. So we did concede goals as well, Stephen. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm kind of agreeing with you. I would like it to be a little bit more cavalier going forward, a little bit more swashbuckling, because if we keep playing the way we've been playing last season, we're going to obtain similar amount of points or slightly less amount of points than we did last season. And that's 89. Now, I will say I think the target for the league will be around 88 points. The higher part of the 80 point mark. I don't think the winners are going to hit 90 points this season. Other than the defensive play and press, there's nothing I like about the way this team plays, and I don't think the players are really happy. Yeah. I'd like I'd like us to return to a more entertaining style. We should be able to have control and entertainment at the same time. If this is the style Arteta wants to play, we need to sell everyone except Raya, Saliba, White, Gabriel, Rice, and Partey because these players are not suited to this style. Sell everyone except that. So that would be most of the attacking core. Everyone is hoping for a big signing. I laugh at that thought considering the piss poor job Arteta did in the summer. I don't trust Arteta one bit right now to get this window right. I actually feel as well that maybe Mikel wanted something more from the summer as well and was disappointed. Maybe the ownership was not allowing him that freedom. I actually feel that Mikel Arteta would have wanted something going forward, and this happens at a lot of clubs. Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool sometimes had to work within his means as well, and managers will always discuss the what they needed when if they didn't get it. Sorry to bore you all, but as far as I'm concerned, enough's enough for Arteta regain any of my trust. Will take a biblical miracle. Yeah, well, I mean, what would him winning, a trophy start to turn you around, Stephen? I'm just wanting to know that. Well, that Liverpool result just pissed me off even more. That's the third time they gave us a chance to close the gap and we failed. We have been moving. We have been matching the same amount of wins, draws, because we haven't lost in 13 games. That though feels like more. We have been moving the same as Liverpool, and I thought by now, this time in January, we would have whittled away a little bit at that 9 point gap. And Liverpool will drop points. It's really up to Arsenal. And I'm going to get into what I'm calling a lopsided fixture schedule. I'll get into that shortly now. But yeah, it is annoying that we dropped 2 points. It is annoying that we dropped 2 points, knowing Liverpool dropped 2 points. But there's also a measure of relief that Liverpool dropped 2 points. And they didn't go over the horizon past that 10 point, 11 point gap right now. With all points in all games being played, we're looking at a 9 point gap right now. Liverpool have a game in hand with, I think it's 6 points ahead of us right now. So as long as we are a result or two away from getting closer to them, we can't call it a title race yet. We will call it a title challenge, and maybe a weak one so far. Here we go, says Mr. Tom. Everyone late. That's new. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're all on strike, Tom. Hey, Tom. Okay, doing well. Mr. Tom hates football. Yeah, I checked in, Tom, because you're going to have your podcast in 90 minutes from now, and go over and check that out, please. We all love Leeds. I mean, I say it because that's the title. It's not as if I actually love. You know what I mean? He hates football because, Leeds were leading 3-1. And 81 minutes, and I think 89 minutes. Away from home, but still you're in a lead, a 3-1 lead. Tom will admit you should close out. You should be professional and be able to close the game out. But football can be a little bit cruel at times, you know what I mean? And we sometimes wonder why we do this to ourselves. You know what I mean? Moss is here. Big match Tuesday. Hope we're healthier. All right. Indeed, we'll talk about that one. Gary's is what do you call that? Moonlighting. Gary's still on with Dan the Gooner. BX Gunner is in the house. Thank you for being here with us. I know you all have choices, and you choose to be here listening to me. So I really do appreciate that. Sometimes I speak sense. I try to look at things from an optimistic point of view. Liverpool have fed into my narrative a little bit, dropping points, because you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, that Liverpool team are the same Liverpool team that got low 80s last season. That team has not changed. The only difference is that Mo Salah has been playing out of his skin for most of the season. And I saw a Mo Salah today that was mostly controlled. So therein lies hope for me. Last season, Manchester United went to Anfield and got a 0-0, got a draw. They beat them in the FA Cup. And then they got a 2-2 at Old Trafford. You know? So Liverpool, that old Liverpool from last season is still reporting for duty. They're still here. They're still going to drop points. The caveat to this is Arsenal. Arsenal need to string more wins together than 3. You know? You could say last season we played 20 games. We got 40 points. Exactly the same position that Arsenal is in right now. You could say Arsenal is the same Arsenal as last season as well. You know, that got us 89 points. We have 40 points now this season, having played all of those teams away from home. All of the big teams away from home. We've played Manchester City away. We've played Villa away. We've played Chelsea away. Brighton, just played Brighton away. Bournemouth, Newcastle. And we have mixed results, but those are away results, away games that we've played already. We don't have to play Newcastle again in the league. Maybe we played them twice now in the Carabao Cup. We don't have to play Villa away from home again. But Liverpool has to go to Nottingham Forest. They've got to go to City. They've got to go to Aston Villa. They've got to go to Chelsea. They've got to go to Brighton, Bournemouth. And listen, if you were listening to me on Thursday night, you're going to hear the same thing. These are the results that Liverpool need to pick up. And they've dropped 2 valuable points today at home. Anfield's supposed to be their fortress, right? But they've lost to Nottingham Forest, and they've drawn to Fulham and drawn to Man United. You know, at home. They've got to play a lot of teams, a lot of the top teams they got to play away from home, and they're going to play some of the bottom teams at home as well. So the rest of their Anfield games are mostly the likes of Everton, Palace, Ipswich, Southampton, Wolverhampton, Wanderers. On the flip side, Arsenal have got 40 points after 20 games, same as last season. But you remember last season, everybody said Arsenal's run-in is really tough. Arsenal's run-in is really tough. Well, Arsenal's run-in last season were some away games. We had to go to the Etihad. We had to go to Old Trafford. We had to go to all of these places that were going to be tough. Tottenham. We had to go to Tottenham. We went there around Easter, and we beat them. Point being, these tough games now that Arsenal have to play are now at home at the Emirates. So a lopsided season. I think the fixture list has thrown up a very, very weird season when it comes to Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool had played a lot of the big teams at home, and Arsenal have played a lot of the big teams away from home so far. Second half of the season, that's going to flip around, and looking at that 9-point gap, and hopefully it comes down. You know what I mean? Hopefully it comes down. But a lot of that is down to Arsenal. It's down to our inefficiency up front. It's going to be down to any incomings that are going to come in in January. and how they adapt to the rest of the season. And like it or not, is going to come down to injuries as well, And Arsenal have been hit with the injury stick harder than Liverpool have. Liverpool fans will point out that they've had injuries, but it hasn't been to key players. And I think another key point before I go back into the comment section here, another key point, and drop your comments in here to what I'm saying as a counterpoint to what I'm saying, if you agree, if you disagree. But another key point, I feel Liverpool have been playing for this new manager for the first half of the season. They've been playing on emotions. Um, they've been exerting energy in the first half of the season that I hope we will see them tire when it comes to March, April, and May. That's my hope. It's just another theory that I'm working on. And Arsenal, as you know, we've had some issues with injuries. And as players come back, hopefully we get stronger and stronger. We need to get stronger to the point where we're not winning 3 games in a row and then dropping points. We need to win. We need to win a sustained amount of games and against the big teams this month. And once we get through Newcastle and Manchester United in the next 2 cup games, we're going to have a Northern derby at home in the middle of January, followed by Aston Villa at the weekend at home. And those are going to be 2 huge games. I really hope that the players, they're professional players, right? I really hope that the Arsenal players, they've got to believe between these 2 years, they've got to have that belief that they can get back into this. Don't start thinking it's over. And maybe that's why Manchester United drawing at Anfield is huge. Maybe that's why Anfield, dropping points at Anfield is huge for our players to look at that and say, this is not over. Despite our perceived injustices when it comes to referees, you know. 4 times this season, and to varying degrees of belief, 4 times this season you could believe that we have been harshly dealt with by the referee. 2 times against Brighton, Declan Rice getting sent off for a flick that you will never see again. Saliba getting penalized yesterday for a contested header penalty. You may never see that again. And Trossard kicking the ball away in a split second at the Etihad. Now, those are 3, right, that are very contentious, very controversial. The 4th one is William Saliba getting sent off against Bournemouth. That's a orange decision. That is, could be yellow, could be red. They decide to send them off. It had a knock-on impact for the next game, which was Liverpool at the Emirates, which we were in a position to beat them, even with a makeshift back 4, until those injuries and that positional players in tough positions because of suspension and injury at the back. They forged a 2-2 draw out of us. Anyway, Moss said, not too many good today. Calafiori and Gabriel Partey all good. Wanari first half was great, but got a muscle injury. When it rains, it pours, and I think we are going to miss Wanari for a little bit. Bargav, good to see you here. Thanks for joining, and hello, happy New Year to each and every one of you. And Bargav, happy New Year also. That's right. Injuries and sickness are a problem, so change formation so there are not as many square pegs and round holes. Can't disagree with that. Cannot disagree with that. The game is back on. Man United gave us a lifeline. And listen, I didn't want to say anything before the game. I had a feeling that Manchester United, and with the uncertainty over the game being called off, had a feeling that Manchester United could cause them problems, because you know what? They gave them problems last season. And I keep saying it, and I could be wrong at the end of the season, but I'm going to keep saying this, that this Liverpool team are the same team they were last season. I see Noe. Noe is in the house as well. Thanks for joining us, Noe and Hawkwind. Happy New Year to both of you. Hope that Arsenal can give us some joy in this. So yeah, Man United did give us a lifeline. Hope that Arsenal can give us some joy. The year is 2025, and it's got to be a year where Arsenal pick up some silverware, and we start having a victory parade of some sort. Bargov said we need signings. Yeah, listen, when you start seeing a couple of academy players on the bench, Arteta's not going to really use them, but they're there to make up the numbers. When players like that are there to make up the numbers, you have injuries, you have a flu bug going around, you have people who are not 100%, and Arsenal are not 100%. Then you need signings, and we need players. And Bargaf, there are players out there, and all of you in the chat box, there are players out there that can help us. There are players out there who are better than Sterling. There's players out there who are better than Kivior or Tierney, Calafiori even. There's players out there who can improve us. And let's not lose sight of that. What do you think we need to win a Champions League? I think we need a little bit more variety up front. We need a winger of some sort. We need a pacey winger. We need a player who can give us something a little bit different. Somebody with pace, somebody who can harass other teams. And that's the type of team. That's the type of ingredient we need in the Champions League. Defensively, Champions League is going to depend on how strong our squad can be, how fit we can remain. If we maintain Saliba and Gabriel at the back, if we have Ben White coming back, who I understand is a few weeks away from joining the team, if we have Urian Timber, so we have a solid base. There's some discussion about Mikel Merino. Is he the player that we really needed? Has he played well? And I think we had this discussion with Kai Havertz last season, where we wondered what he was and what he was going to be to the team, and it took him 6-7 months to integrate into the team. We didn't see the best of Kai Havertz until the new year, although he did score a few goals leading up into Christmas, but we didn't see the best from Kai Havertz till then. I think Mikel Merino, we're trying to figure out how to get the best out of him as well. But the Champions League is something that we're going to experience two-legged affairs. We're going to experience home and away situations, and the Carabao Cup is going to be critical to us in gaining that experience. When you think about it, this Arsenal squad just had that one season in the Champions League for a number of seasons. So this is our second year after a big gap of 6 or 7 seasons out of the Champions League. When you look at it, Liverpool's there, Aston Villa's there. Are we afraid of those two teams? No. Real Madrid, they're not the team that you would be fearful of. You have to respect Real Madrid. Obviously, they're always there. They always seem to win it. But that's the one thing Arsenal fans need, to be able to sit at the table of other rival fans and get that Champions League. And a lot of our rivals don't believe Arsenal can do it, either in the Champions League or in the Premier League. So we got to turn that perception around. Steven said Rice has been using 20 games as his training camp, and he's still been piss poor. And I think he's not hit the heights. He's not hit the heights of last season. He's been carrying a toe injury as well. Stephen, we don't know, and the rest of the chat, we don't know the exact extent of that injury and how it holds one athlete back. If we have a number of niggling issues or injuries, it could hold a large part of the team back, and the cohesion might not be there. We're waiting for Arsenal to click again, as we did post Dubai last season in January. We are not going to have a Dubai break to be able to concoct that again, and so it's got to happen naturally. I'm not happy with Arsenal winning 5-1 against Crystal Palace. Now that might seem weird, but listen to what I'm going to say after that, and then get one goal against Ipswich Town, you know, and we win both games, right? But we win one 5-1 against Crystal Palace, and we win the other 1-0. That shows to me an inconsistency in our performance. It shows to me an inconsistency in our uh, um, attacking intent. So when we become more consistent and we win games by 2 goals or 3 goals, then I'll feel happier that we can slip into a groove. We want to be like City of previous years. We this Arsenal team, we did it against Liverpool last season. We put a run together right about this time of the year, um, mid-January, late January, when we came back from Dubai. We'll put that run together. Liverpool were 5 points ahead of us in January last year, and finished 7 points behind us. That is a 12-point swing. And we need to do something similar in these 3 or 4 months coming up to the end of the season. It can happen. Now the City are behind us. City are back there. They've had their struggles, and we need to address Liverpool now. And it's important for this Arsenal team not to lose um, who they were the last 2 years. You know, because it doesn't look good right now. We've dropped too many points. We've drawn too many games. We've drawn 7 games. We only won 11. You know, we need to have turned 4 of those draws into wins. Um, Control means absolutely nothing if you can score, because you run into a brick wall every time you move into the final third and can't score. Yeah, I mean, I would like a little bit more of drawing the opposition out, so we have more room to work in. We can uh, um, transition on these teams. Ray, what would you class as an acceptable season at the bare minimum? Bare minimum acceptable season, with realizing that Mikel Arteta's been in charge for 5 years now, would be a Carabao Cup win and a top four finish in the Premier League. That would be acceptable. Um, just just to finish top four would be very underwhelming. Just to finish top four and lose a semi-final or lose a final, that would be underwhelming. Given the journey that we've been on and talking about the phases that we're going to be, um, that Mikel Arteta has mentioned, you know, other managers are doing things earlier and quicker as well. So yeah, that's an acceptable season as a bare minimum top four and the trophy. You know, Arteta wants control, but when you cannot score at all, it takes this one bad call. Yeah, bounce a moment, brilliance, and we're screwed like Saturday. I completely agree with you. The control has to be there, and also has to um, bring the second goal. You know, control and separation is what's important. Hawkwind's in the house. Jeez, that was listen. We're all buoyed a little bit by that Liverpool dropping 2 points at home. We all tuned in to watch the game, and we all hoped for the best, but feared the worst. Right? Indeed, it is not new. Um, It's more the irony of the notion that no one loves Leeds. Yeah, I like the title. I like the title, Tom. And I like the way that your title, you can use the same title every week. Well, what did you make of that? That then does force me to go and check on the results. So yeah, anyone joining us now, let me know what you thought about this Liverpool draw. It gives us a slight chink of light, a slight crack of light. Misfit, the way we are playing right now is way more dangerous than the way we played 2 years ago and the last 19 games of last season. The way we're playing right now is way more dangerous. Dangerous in the sense that we can lose or drop points. I will take that for sure. Right, I've never seen a goal like it in my life. The second Hull goal, the keeper jumps up for a ball that's going over, then palms it downwards to the Hull player. Oh God! So this sounds to me a little bit like maybe the Liverpool goal that I think Origi scored against Everton. Yeah, where he hit the crossbar, came down to the player. I'll have to check it out, Tom. When your luck is out, it is very much it compounds, right? And when things go wrong for you, everybody feels when you can see the goal is like the most avoidable thing, or the most easiest to defend thing. Like there's no such thing as a good goal when it's scored against you, because you can always say, well, that defender was out of position. That defender should have shot him down the line. That defender should have done this. And the goalkeeper should have been positioned better. All these kinds of things. You're never happy when you concede. Hey, Noe, I hope you are doing well on the West Coast. The Liverpool draw gave us hope. Always good to see faces from the past coming back over and over every week. Craig, I think it is. AFC always. Arteta can't manage injuries, squads, lineups, and manage to use players in their correct positions. We're a big club with no elite manager, no elite director, and no elite players. Yeah, I think whilst he's gotten better at it, I think we have still got some situations where, and my biggest critique of Mikel Arteta is that he will substitute younger players in order to not shame older players. And my other and bigger criticism of Mikel Arteta is that he uses he likes the idea of suitability where you can play in different positions, right? But he uses, as we said, square pegs and round holes. Thomas Partey playing right back. I would think by now he would say to himself, that's like not working so well. And the situation of left back. And look, we've seen Andy Robertson today at Liverpool. He is a weak link at Liverpool as well, and was responsible for the second goal, the equalizing goal in the 2-2. But yeah, listen, we need to be that team now, Craig. We need to be that team that steps forward and wins things. I think we're at that stage. We're at that stage in our progression. If we are to progress, that's the next phase. Next phase has got to be winning trophies. You know, and look, I grew up watching Arsenal, and the first trophy I saw Arsenal lift was the League Cup, which is the Carabao Cup. So we've only done it twice. We beat Liverpool in '87, and we beat Sheffield Wednesday in '93. Only did twice. And Arsene Wenger, he would blood young players in that competition, which is fine because we had target of FA Cup and Champions League and Premier League competition. But we're in a position now where this Arsenal team really needs to win more silverware, for the players who have been involved in this project for 2, 3 seasons. Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Magalhaes. Players who've been here a bit longer, Ben White, and then we have more recent players, David Raya, Timber, Declan Rice. Thomas Partey's been here a few years. I'd love Thomas Partey to be able to pick up a piece of silverware with Arsenal. I always feel like it's a shame when a player plays for a club and okay, he's getting paid well, he's a professional player, he's getting paid, but doesn't end up with any kind of silverware at the end of his career, at the end of his club career with Arsenal. I always hate to see a player leave Arsenal and have that success with other teams. It kind of tarnishes their time at our club. You know what I mean? Because they're going to look at the medals that they've won at the end of their career, and it will be with other teams. You know, so thankful we have some legends at our club that are great ambassadors for Arsenal. Thierry Henry loves Arsenal. Ian Wright, Dennis Bergkamp, Lauren, all of these players, legends who have done things for Arsenal. We need to create a few more modern day legends with this club, and those players are players who need to bring success to this club, and we can give them memories. These players that play for us, we can give them memories by winning things with them and sealing their legacy with the club. So yeah, we'll have to see. I hate to say it, Craig, but we're always at that point where we have to see. You know what I mean? Like I said, I want to get off on the first stop on this journey. The first stop on this journey the first destination on this journey has to be a trophy of some sort, and then we can continue the journey and get another trophy. That's the way I see it. And 2025 has got to be one of the years where the trophies have to start coming into the cabinet. I've seen Arsenal overturn a 13-point deficit in 1998. It happened. Definitely, Tom, it happened. In order to do that, you have to apply a little bit of pressure. You have to apply a little bit of pressure to the team out in front. Liverpool today dropped 2 points. Now, nobody knows how and why they dropped 2 points. It could be that they feel they've got a gap to Arsenal that Arsenal can't threaten them with. It could be that Manchester United showed up and played well, which seems to be the case. Manchester United outplayed them, beat them in the duels. As Arteta says, they lost. Liverpool lost the duels. Manchester United won in some of the 50-50 game, some of the 50-50 challenges. But from small things like a result at home to Manchester United, a bigger thing can happen. So it can start very quickly. The winning taste in your mouth can go away very quickly. But we need to look at ourselves, Arsenal, and win more games in a row than 3, which is what we've done. Only won games in groups of 3s before we drop points on the next one in the league. So Arsenal need to have a sustained, and I talked about we're at the same point we were last season. Pretty much this time last year, before the FA Cup, we were sitting on 40 points after 20 games. And then we went on a run of 16 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. So let that sink in. That's the kind of run that Arsenal need to put together in the league. 16 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. So that's going to be a big ask. But a lot of that narrative from last year was Arsenal's run in is so tough. They got to play away in a lot of stadiums in the second half of the season. Well, Liverpool have to play away in a lot of these stadiums in the second half of the season. Arsenal have to play a lot of these teams at the Emirates. So we shall see what happens. But once again, we're always in this position where we have to wait. We don't quite feel comfortable that we can do it. Or maybe just embrace it. This is part of the journey. This is part of the roller coaster of the season. We've had, this is kind of like a downward spiral, albeit we've won a few games, but we dropped a lot of points, and I'll put that caption up in a second. But yeah, it can definitely happen. Definitely can happen, Tom. Liverpool have a 9-point gap, but when Liverpool draw the Manchester United, I'd like to think that Arsenal have taken 3 points in the corresponding game. Didn't happen this weekend, but they didn't get away from us either. So we go to the next round, right? And the next round will be in the league. Will be in North London derby against Tottenham. We play at home. I'm pretty looked at Liverpool's schedule enough that I feel like they're going to go to Brentford. They have to go away to Brentford, which will be a tough game for them. Brentford are no mugs at the G-Tech at their own stadium. So Craig said, right, Arsenal have 3 massive games: Newcastle in the League Cup, Man United in the FA Cup, and Tottenham in the league. Yeah, we have to embrace it. Newcastle is going to be a battle. Both of those games is going to be a battle. And it's going to be huge, right? Because we have to navigate a home game first. Maybe we'll take a slender lead to Newcastle, to Tyneside. And that next game's in February. So there's about 4 weeks apart from these 2 legs. It's not like we're going to play them next week in the second leg. So we have to play Newcastle at the Emirates and then go into other action, FA Cup, League, and Champions League before we meet Newcastle again on the 5th of February. So it was approximately 4 weeks apart in the 2 games, which is going to make it hard to recognize them as 2 games in the same couple. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to be 2 separate games, but they will obviously add up to somebody going to the final. Now, Newcastle will make it a battle. We don't know what kind of shape we're going to be in. I feel like we protected Odegaard yesterday from playing because he has a bug. Kai Havertz may have been marginal for this Brighton game. He didn't make it, so maybe Kai Havertz will be available on Tuesday night. But a huge game, and we're going to need Saliba, we're going to need Gabriel, we're going to need Timber and Calafiori, all of them to be on their mettle. We're going to need Partey in front of them because, you got Isak. Right now, I won't guarantee Isak will score at the Emirates, but you'd almost give them like a 0.75. You'd almost give Isak a 0.75. What do you call that? Expected goal at the Emirates. You'd almost feel like Newcastle might grab a goal at the Emirates. And we've got to be good enough to get 2 or 3 goals to take something back to Tyneside. The second leg will be its own game in February, but you do feel like you'd like to take something up to Tyneside. But that mentality of taking a lead to Tyneside for the second leg also needs to be just so like we need to win the game at Tyneside. You can't take a first leg advantage into a second leg and just hope to sit on it. So the psychology is going to be so important. Man United in the FA Cup, that's got to be a game where the crowd have to come into it now and make the Emirates loud for the Newcastle game in the Carabao Cup. And next Sunday, it's got to be a cauldron in there because, Man United will come into the Emirates as the holders of the FA Cup. and we got to wrestle. We got to wrestle the trophy out of their hands. Go into the next round, and like I said earlier, you get past one of the bigger teams in the third round, you should have an easier draw in the fourth round, fifth round. When you get to the fifth and sixth, quarterfinal, semifinal, you're gonna meet the big teams again. But who are we afraid of? Nobody. There's nobody really that we can be afraid of in this league. I know we can go toe to toe with Liverpool, and that's why this season, 2025, has got to be about getting a trophy in our hands. Tottenham will take care of itself as well. The players have to believe, and by this Liverpool result, the players will believe. They'll be talking. Liverpool dropped 2 points again. We need to be on our mettle. We need to get 3 points after 3 points after 3 points. We need to win more than 3 games in a row. These are the things that as Arsenal players have to seize upon. If Arteta wins the League Cup and the FA Cup, I will celebrate it. Then give Arteta his P45. Yeah, but doesn't that mean success? Like Ten Hag won an FA Cup. Well, then they sacked him. It doesn't look like Ruben Amorim is able to turn things around too much. He got a performance out of United today, and I do think the United step up against the bigger teams. They beat Man City. They've drawn with Liverpool today. Tom said, "I've never seen a team that's top of the division have a worse goalkeeper in that division." Is that Meslier? Happy New Year to you and your family. Happy New Year to all of you out here as well. I see Stan in the comments as well. Welcome in, Stan. Craig said, Ray, I've seen Arsenal win 5 league titles, 9 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 1 Cup Winners' Cup. Yeah, I've seen all of that as well. I've seen everything since 87. So that's 89, 91, 98. Yeah, I've seen the 5 league titles as well. I've seen maybe 7 of those FA Cups and those 2 League Cups and one Cup Winners' Cup as well. This is what we want. We want to see more of this. Those are some nice numbers, Craig. 5 titles, 9 cups, 2 League Cups, 1 Cup Winners' Cup. I'd like to see some more as well. Starboy and Wari, this kid is special. I think when you're that young and you produce a goal, he scored 2 goals now in the league. He scored in the Carabao Cup. He doesn't look unfazed by being with the first team players, with the older players. He reminds me a little bit of, we've seen this with Cesc Fabregas when he was young. You come into the team, and if you're good enough, you're old enough. Isn't that what they say? You're good enough, you're old enough. How lucky are we? I mean, this academy has produced many, many good players, but there's 3 now that have, well, if you maybe 3 or 4 now that have come through and into our team. Bukayo Saka, of course, Ethan Waneri, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. There are more players coming through, and I think we should maybe give Waneri more license this season. Sure, we don't want him to get too much football. I think the plan always was for Waneri to be an understudy to Odegaard. And of course, you never think that a player such as Odegaard and the amount of minutes you want to award to Odegaard versus Waneri being maybe 85-15 or 90%, 10%. Odegaard getting 9% of the minutes. You never can legislate for injuries. You never can say, okay, well, this player is going to get an injury. Certain YouTubers will tell you, oh, I knew he was going to get an injury. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Well, if you keep saying these things, eventually you're going to be right. Doesn't mean that you're right. You know what I mean? But Ethan Waneri, he looks like a player, and let him be. Let's let him be who he's going to be. You know what I mean? Not put too much expectation on him, and just let him go out there and play. And he's shown a lot already this season in the Carabao Cup. He's taken some of that into the league as well. Can't remember the game he scored against, and he scored in a 3-0 win, I think it was, earlier in the league game. The Sterling centre to him, and then at Brighton. So yeah, he's got quality. Ethan Waneri's got quality. This kid is going to be special. Craig. Right, did you know the Real Madrid squad is 160 less than ours? And look at their team and squad to ours. It's a disgrace. Is some of that down to the Premier League? Is some of that outlay, some of that 160 million down to the Premier League and the inflated prices that you have to pay for when you want to get Premier League experience in the team? Declan Rice. And, Real Madrid, you got to think about this as well, Craig. Real Madrid, they wait for the player to run his contract down. It's a ploy that they use, and they're using it right now with Trent Alexander-Arnold, or Terence Trent D'Arby, as I like to say. They're waiting for him to run his. He can talk to them now. In January. He's talking to Real Madrid. I don't know if he's going to stay at Liverpool, but Real Madrid got Mbappe on a free. Is it free? No. I don't know what criteria you're working at 160 million off. Is that transfer fees? Because when it comes to a transfer, there's many things that are taken into account, and the wages. So Kai Havertz is signed for 65 million from Chelsea, but it's more than 65 million over the course of 6 seasons. We know Declan Rice was 105 million over 6 seasons. That's the amortization of the fee, right? I know West Ham wanted like a third and a third and a third of that fee. They wanted a big chunk up front. What I'm saying though is you got to factor in the wages as well. So Real Madrid, get players on free. Transfer fee is 0. That counts to your 160 less maybe than ours. But they pay. They're paying Mbappe, and I don't even know what they're paying Mbappe, but it's a large slice of cake. You know what I mean? Craig said, Alyssa, you've been great here. The chat has been great to keep things going here. Enjoying the chat with you today. I've seen Arteta have an 8-point lead in March and finish without a league title. First season we were challenging Man City. Let that sink in. First season we were challenging Man City, and these are players. These were players. These are some players. First time they might have been in this title challenge, and Man City went to the Emirates and beat us. We weren't able to beat them. Then they closed on us. So, having a lead, sometimes having a lead can be dangerous as well. Pressure's slightly off when you're chasing, slightly. At Arsenal, the pressure's always there, but Liverpool have a 9-point lead now, and Arsenal need to put some heat on them. Arsenal need to win. I'll put the caption up here. Put the caption up here. What we've done this season, and there's a few D's in here. So we've dropped 20 points. We've dropped 20 points. We're just over 50% through the season. But look through this caption. I can't put more than 3 W's together. Arsenal haven't put more than 3 W's together. We're halfway through the season and we've got only 44%. Or 40. If you want to round it up, we'll say 45%. We're at 45% of that 90-point target. That means we have to mirror what we did last season. It's going to be tough. I'm not saying we have to win 16 in a row and draw 1 and lose 1. I'm not saying there's 2 results that we can drop points in. Might be even less than that. But we're going to have to take it week by week and apply some pressure to this Liverpool team. They're not feeling it right now. The pressure they're feeling is self-induced pressure. Having a 2-1 lead with 10 minutes to go at Anfield, Arsenal have been there. We've been there. We were there against Liverpool, a 2-1 lead with 10 minutes to go. Thanks, Tom. I really appreciate it. Good discussion, Roy. Well done in all seriousness. Listen, I'm not feeling. I'm just here. I'm here with the chat box. I'm comfortable. I'm getting to talk more than I usually talk if I had guests on. So sometimes it's good just to come and talk, have a come to Jesus moment with chat here. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Liverpool pressure is self-induced. It's Tom, you'll know as well in the championship. It's a unique kind of pressure. You're at the top right now, but there are teams below you who I want Leeds to win the championship, but each and every week there's that pressure. You have to maintain the standards. You have to maintain the standards. You have to maintain the points difference. You have to continue to be ahead. You slip into second place, it's another kind of thing. You know what I mean? Who would you realistically buy in January? Says Tom. Brian Mbeumo. That's a player I'd buy. He's got some energy about him. I think he would fit in with our style. If we kind of get Mbeumo, I'd get Wisa. There's a couple of other players. There's a player or two out there who we could get who would split the fan base. There's a player, I think it's from Leipzig maybe, or Leverkusen. Omar Marmoush, something like that. He's an Egyptian player. He looks lively. We need something that's going to inject like a Luis Diaz type of player, Something with a bit of variety up front that we can attack with. And look, if we want to win 16 games here in the next 18, and the players that we have in our squad right now, realistically, can secure 10, 12 wins just by the quality we have in our team. We can beat teams like West Ham at home, Leicester away, Everton away, Palace away, Ipswich away, Southampton away, Wolves away. But when it comes to the likes of Man City at home, Villa at home, Chelsea at home, these are teams. Cunha would be a good one as well. I think Cunha would be a good player as well. But yeah, I think go to Brentford, pick up a player from there. I know there was a Kubo. Kubo was a player from Sociedad. We have good relationships with Sociedad. We have good relationships with Brentford. Maybe not good relationships with Brighton anymore because of the Caicedo situation. But yeah, I'm going to come back to your comments then, Stan, as well. I've seen Cunha and Isak be lauded as a transfer, but I can't imagine either of those teams selling to you unless you made an offer they couldn't refuse. Yeah, listen, they're talking about Isak being 150 million. I think we missed the boat with this, with Isak. Missed the boat with Isak. It's gone quiet in Gyökeres as well. I think Arsenal will want to get a major signing in the summer. We talked about this last summer. We wanted to get a major signing in last summer. It didn't happen. And many of us were underwhelmed by last summer's transfer dealings. You know, Mikel Merino, Calafiori, they've been okay. They haven't been huge successes. Like I said on Thursday night, the likes of Martinelli and Trossard, that combination on the left, we need more from them. We need more from Kai Havertz. We definitely need more from Odegaard because we're talking about players who need to fill in the void that Bukayo Saka is leaving us. Isak would be 150 million, probably not going to do that. Cunha would be 50, 60 million. That'd be an offer that Wolves could not refuse. You know what I mean? All right. Stan was retorting to Craig. So Arteta blew an 8-point lead. What about the players? Do they get a free pass? Exactly. Manager prepares the players, but the players have to go out and execute. You train, like at work, you train somebody to do something and to use their head in certain situations, be able to communicate, be able to communicate with another department or something like that in order to get the job done right. And your training can only go so far. If you don't have that natural ability or you don't have that strong mentality, the mental capacity to, in sports, put all of that to one side. Put your worries to one side and get to work on what you need to do. And don't let that anxiety, that stress get to you. And football, you're in a football match. You got 10 other teammates on the field with you. You have to work cohesively. You have to communicate. Very often it's a gesture or a wave, like get in position. We saw Virgil van Dijk today. Not happy because Liverpool were being stretched and pulled apart by Man United. And that's something we got to be careful about next weekend, next Sunday. Manchester United played well at Anfield. We have to recognize that. Højlund and Garnacho didn't play well. Bruno Fernandes was very good. Kobe Mainoo was very good. So that midfield is good. Something Arsenal need to be aware of. And Mikel Arteta, you can't take your foot off the pedal because we're going into the next stage of January. And this next stage on the football field at least, is cups. For the next two games are cup games. Newcastle at home, Isak and Gordon, dangerous players we need to account for. Kai Havertz hopefully overcomes the bug. Odegaard hopefully overcomes his bug and can join the team because arguably you could actually argue this is a semi-final of a cup. The most important fixture, the most important fixture of the month. You could actually argue that. I'm sure I would get some counter argument to that. A Carabao Cup, the most important game of the month, where we got a North London derby and Aston Villa coming in the league. We got Man United, the FA Cup holders in the FA Cup, a competition that we own. We're the record holders of how many times we won that FA Cup. and we want to win the FA Cup again. But yeah, a semi-final of the Carabao Cup, where it's been 5 years that Mikel Arteta and his Arsenal team that has been fashioned into titled challengers in the last 2 years need to win. The Carabao Cup is going to be framed by commentators and presenters as 4 managers who are desperate to get their hands on silverware for different reasons. Maybe the one who needs it the most is Angie Postecoglou. He's the one who needs it the most. So he's definitely rested his players for Liverpool. But Don Howe, not Don Howe, I call him Don Howe all the time. Eddie Howe, he needs success at Newcastle as well. I think the ownership have been very, very patient with him. There's been times where Newcastle have faded. They've come strong in the last 5 or 6 games. Newcastle are dangerous, and Arsenal and the players, then they don't get a free pass. These players play for this club, play for this badge, and it's time. It's time to start punching our vouchers for trophies. It's time to start winning. Another one from Stan here. Madrid play in a much easier league. Don't need to spend as much to win it and maintain their. They also have an aura about them. Real Madrid have an aura about them where most players south of the hemisphere, south of the equator, in the southern hemisphere, want to play for Real Madrid. They're a legacy team. Arsenal had that. They have somewhat of a legacy through Arsene Wenger, French players, European players. We have that about us. Some of our players that we have now on the books were following Arsenal as kids. Mikel Arteta will say it, and he's in some respects he's right. The Arsenal knock is somewhat different. But historically we're behind Liverpool. Historically we're behind Manchester United, and in modern day times, in terms of spending, we have been behind Man City and even Chelsea. Those are 2 teams that have been propped up by other avenues of revenue. Real Madrid, historically, they got Barcelona, maybe Atletico Madrid to challenge them. Those are the 3 teams that are always there. You got the likes of Villarreal and other teams who are, Sociedad in the second tier of the top half, if you like. They don't need to spend as much to win it because players who want to come there, and players will run their contracts down, such as we're seeing with Trent. Tom said we're in a 3-way tie for first place. Come May, I'd accept second. Definitely want to get back in the Premier League. That's number 1. But you'd like to win the damn thing as well, Tom. You know what I mean? That's a trophy. Winning the championship as well. I've seen Cunha and Isaac. Yeah. Make them an offer. Let's make it. We need to. This Arsenal team, we've got injuries and we've got a bug going through the camp. So this team needs to pick up silverware. In order to pick up silverware, this team needs to pick up a player. We will hear, you don't want to bring a player in that's going to offset our plans for the summer, but you don't want to sign off where we are in this season right now and say we don't need that. We've gone to a semi-final of the Carabao Cup, where usually we don't even touch the quarterfinals in recent seasons. So this is one we got to take seriously. We got Manchester United coming in the FA Cup on Sunday. Got to take that seriously. Premier League I was going to come on today and say you got to treat the Premier League with the same importance as we have done at the start of the season. In the back of my mind, I would say Liverpool have won against Man United. They've increased the lead on us to by another 2 points. But that didn't happen. And they would have gone 11 points clear of us, which is for me, it's over the horizon. You go past 10 points, it's very, very difficult. But Liverpool didn't do that. Liverpool fans will be kicking themselves right now. Mr. Bungle, I hope you are doing well. Hope that you are at home now, have fully recovered and recuperated. Last time I heard, you were spending the festive period away from your home. So I hope you're feeling well. Let me know if everything's good. But yeah, listen, Arsenal are still in the Premier League. We might not be in a race yet, but we're still in the league. You can't. Is everyone going to say, right? I mean, people will say it, right? Liverpool have won the league, right? People are going to say that now. That's it. It's over. Liverpool have won. Should we give them the title now? Should we just hand the Premier League over to them now? Or should we play the games out and see what happens? Because I'll tell you, it's playing out like I have said. The results that Liverpool have got this season are pretty much the same results that they've got last season. Give or take a point or two here. We know they drew with us where we beat them last season. But the lopsided schedule is going to come. Lopsided season is going to come for them now. It's going to start to flip, and maybe this Manchester United game has started that process of slipping. You know, yes, Mr. Bungle, you're being in hospital, but you're on the mend. I hope you're home and recuperating and on the mend, Mr. Bungle. And hope you had, well, in the circumstances, I hope you had a good holiday, and I hope you have a better Happy New Year as well. So, but yeah, listen, we can't give up on the Premier League title. We have a squad of professional players who play professional football and need professionally to win 3 points every time they go out. So the league is not over, and I think Stan will agree with me that we've got a different set of referees in the Champions League, and a different set of possibilities that maybe referees in the Premier League won't allow us to. I'm not going to touch the controversial aspect of the penalty. The more and more that you see the discussion about the penalty, the more and more I can be talked into thinking it was a rash challenge by Saliba. But I can also be talked into thinking the referee was very, very harsh to think about it for a second and allow a penalty. I've accused Anthony Taylor of manipulating the result at the Emirates. Firmly stand behind that, believe that. He tilted the field in Liverpool's benefit and Liverpool's advantage at the Emirates. And I also feel Anthony Taylor had an opportunity to say that was just a clash of heads and not give a penalty. So these Premier League referees always challenge me in the way I think, are they incompetent or are they corrupt? And it's very it's not very palatable either way, whatever the answer I come up with. Because if they are incompetent, then Howard Webb needs to go and source referees from all four corners of the United Kingdom, all four corners of England. Get referees from London, get referees from Southampton area, get referees from Newcastle area. Because when you look at the map of the Premier League, the PGMOL, the finest, their finest, are all from around Manchester area. Their finest are all from around Liverpool area. So that's what Howard Webb needs to do: is go and get a better set of diverse referees in terms of location and cultures. Gary, welcome.
Hello. Sorry about that. I was on with Dan and we just kind of went over.
Well, I was on by myself, and we just kind of went on and on. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
cool.
I've
You're
done a
talking about
pretty.
referees now. So there you
So
go. So
yeah, Keith,
you are definitely an Arsenal channel.
definitely an Arsenal channel because referees are like our preferred topic of discussion. Unfortunately, Gary.
Yes.
Um, I did say I didn't want to talk about the penalty, but I find myself in the last 2 or 3 minutes
You
talking
gotta
about.
talk all aspects of the game. Everything counts, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us. But yeah,
So
no, yeah,
I don't know. Well, I've talked a lot about a lot of things, but and the chat box have been great in keeping the conversation going. So I'm going to turn it over to you so I can get a little bit of a
yeah.
throat
Well,
rest.
no problem, no problem. Nah, I assume it's just like you're still talking about the game there. I still want Saliba to go. I we saw. Just think about. I mean, to me, it's more. Maybe it's the head to head that makes the difference, and the player goes down. All right.
Yeah.
I'm only 90 minutes late. Yeah, late. Yeah, I was just early. I was just early. Or maybe I was 90 minutes early, 90 seconds, 90 minutes early. But
Yeah.
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 No, for me, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we didn't get the win. That
So
penalty situation. But there are many other situations. I mean, we s- you probably talked about it to begin with.
mm,
The lineup to start the game probably put us at a disadvantage when we needed to go and take it to them.
yeah. So I mean, really, what I didn't really talk about the game as such. I talked more about this month and the circumstances about
Mm,
what's going on this month, and we wanted to win more than 3 games in a row, and we haven't
mm,
done that yet.
mm.
And there is there is injuries and there is a flu bug going around, so that maybe impacted the lineup. What are your thoughts on that?
I think these are challenges that you just go through every season, right? We just happen to be lucky in the last two that we didn't have to deal with it as much,
Hmm.
or we didn't have to deal with it with our stars, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's kind of the difference.
Liverpool had this. I mean, talking about Liverpool and dropping 2 points, they had a season where Virgil van Dijk was injured. They had a season where they had to win a large amount of games just to finish top four. You know,
Mm.
Tom did ask the question of me earlier. Gary, what would be your bare minimum that you would call the season's, success on a bare minimum?
Oof, I feel like a big trophy or two domestic cups is the very minimum, I think.
Yeah.
And it sound that that is a big ask, but I think that's where we need to be for us to feel like we've taken on these challenges and succeeded. So I think, yeah, for me, that's what I think we need to do. I
My
think, yeah, I think if we don't get those, then we have to have that serious talk about, are we still going in the right direction or not with the manager that we got, right? So,
yeah, my criteria was winning a cup, putting a trophy of some sort in the cabinet,
mm,
and finishing top four as well. That would be
yeah,
my criteria. We're kind of similar in that
yeah,
respect.
yeah. I guess I didn't mention top four, but I mean, I think if we are able to compete for two domestic cups, we should be in top four because
Yeah.
I don't think the form will suffer that much because we're battling for two cups. So
We
you know,
some would call us privileged, but we know what it's like to have been
well,
outside top four.
it's relative, right, to your
Yeah,
situation, right? So
and
we need
you don't have to be, and again, being privileged, right? You don't. I would say you don't have to be a great team to get top four. You just have to be a decent or a good team
to be
to get top
consistent
four.
with your play, right? The more
Yeah.
consistent you are, the more chances you're not gonna win. You're not gonna lose the games that like we're not consistent enough right now. We're
So
losing, we're dropping points in games we probably shouldn't have. The
yeah.
more consistent you are, the higher up you're going to be on the table.
The other thing I talked about, I want to get your take on this is I've seen a lopsided fixture list when it comes to Liverpool versus Arsenal. First half of the season, Liverpool have played a lot of the teams at home, the top teams at home, whilst Arsenal have played a lot of the top teams away from home. I'm expecting that now to flip around into this second half of the season. And maybe this has started already with Manchester United coming to Anfield and getting a point, and Arsenal actually going away to Brighton and getting a point. Maybe that's actually started right now, that we're actually where we were last season. After 20 games, we have 40 points also. And
Yeah.
that means we got to win the majority of games, right?
Yes, and yeah, maybe it is the turn. We'll see if it really is the turn or not. But it doesn't matter if we don't get the wins. So
Doesn't it
for me,
feel?
first we got to get the wins, and then we
Yeah.
can turn around and look and see what Liverpool has done. All right, because
Yeah,
because if we're drawing and they're, because say
they're drawing.
if we're drawing and they, even if they lose, they still got a, potentially a nine. They got a 6 point gap on us right now. All right.
Yeah,
So if they, like if if they draw and we lose, or to vice versa, they've got kind of 3 to 6 tries at that before it matters, right? And it
yeah,
has to be on the same weekends for us to see it. So I kind of feel
yeah.
like we just got to win the next one, and then we'll worry
It's
about
all,
it. We'll
yeah,
worry about it, and then we got to win the one after that, and then we'll worry
yeah.
about it, right?
It's all about Arsenal. It's all about what we do, right? Because I think Liverpool will drop points along the way. We've got
Mm.
to pick up our performances to where we're not dropping points after winning 3 games. As crazy as that sounds, and I believe looking at this game with Liverpool and Manchester United at Anfield, the Arsenal players have to now feel okay. We have a chance. Liverpool drop points as well, but now we're running out of chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well. Yes. Yeah. It feels like it, but got to turn around and then get a. We just got a draw. We got to turn around and get a win. We can't be taking whatever, Can't take that. Can't take what happened in the last game into the next one, right? And then run into a little streak. I was saying to many, this 3 game stretch is very important. If we come out, if we come out unscathed, we get 3 wins in a row. We were looking pretty good, right?
Did that include yesterday?
No, no. These are
The
next three
next
games.
three,
Next three, because the
right?
next three
Because
are
we
in three
progress in
different.
the cups, right?
The next 3 games are in three. They're in 3 different domestic
Competitions.
trophies that
Yeah,
we can win. Right? You
yeah,
win all 3, then you can keep yourself in the game. If you struggle in 1 or 2 or 3 of them, then you could be out. Right?
exactly.
If we fall behind, uh, you know, fall behind 9 points with a game in hand to Liverpool by not
Mhm.
beating that team, right?
Yeah,
That's not going to look good, right?
no.
If we fall to Manchester United, we're
In the
out,
FA Cup
right?
again,
And
like for a second year running at
if we have
home.
to go to Newcastle and we are either at a draw or behind on goal difference, that's not good either, right? Because
Well,
that plays right
yeah,
into their hand.
the Newcastle. These are 3 home games as well. The Newcastle
We
one
play
will be
4
like,
home games in a row.
yeah,
We need
yeah,
to essentially win all 4 of them, right? And they're all 4 in 4. They're all 4 in all the trophies that we have to play. We're
yeah,
playing all 4 of them in a row. We play them
yeah.
all at home. You got to, win
It's
all 4 of
crucial.
them to keep yourself. I think even if we lost to Dynamo Zagreb, well, actually I don't think we will, but we
Yeah,
can keep. It's what we need to do. It's just
yeah.
we win all 4,
It's
and then you go to the Wolves match away, and then you're like feeling good about yourself, right? And you try to continue that winning streak going. But
mhm.
yeah, no, this is whenever I think this is, like, as I said, this is similar to that situation when we played um, Bayern with the Villa game in the middle, right? We
Yeah,
have to do a similar thing like that. This is another one of those big tests for Arteta. No matter who's playing, who's available, what
yeah.
form we're on, we need to
We have
come out the end with a win 3 times.
yeah. I think the 2 league games, the Tottenham and Villa, have not been at their best this season. So
Yeah.
those are 2 games
So
where
Manchester United hasn't been at their best, and we saw what
I know
happened
I'm
today.
coming back.
So,
I'm coming back to them. They played well today,
mm,
so they will present some difficulties to us as well. That Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo were very good at the back. Harry Maguire has been rebuilt a little bit. His confidence lacking has been rebuilt again. But I don't care about Man United other than that they took a point against
Well,
Liverpool.
no, but I mean that's the thing, right? You play in these big games, and some people, talking about 7-0 and stuff like that, and then other people are like, "Well, this is not a small game. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
how bad Manchester United is. It's not a small
yeah.
game. They both will come to play." Uh, and
I
Liverpool
had a
wasn't at their best, and Manchester United was pretty much probably at their best, right?
yep.
And
I had a sneaking feeling. I had a sneaking feeling Man United would do something. Obviously, was not going to go public with that because I would have had egg in my face if Salah scores 3 goals and they win like 4-0. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Um, how about Newcastle? That's the most immediate one, Gary.
yeah. Well, they're
They are
on
in
what they're
form.
on a,
They're
what 6-game winning streak or something like that right
six in a
now.
row. Yep.
So we have to. They have been an Achilles heel for us, right?
Yeah.
Um, we
Some
we know
respect.
how they're going to play, so that shouldn't be a surprise, right? We know what we have
Physical.
to do. We have to be really clean on the ball. We can't be making mistakes because they will punish us like they did the last time we played them, right?
Yeah.
So, we need to redeem ourselves from that loss, right? Um, uh, we lost to them and we gave them nothing, and they punished us for it, right? It's,
Who's that?
so we need to return the favor here, redeem ourselves, revenge game if you want to call it that. Um,
Whatever
I think our
motivates.
I think our
Yeah.
defense is solid, so we don't have to worry about that. I think it's the other side of the ball that's been the problem for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we come out there and if we get a lead like we just did against you know
Brighton.
Brighton, we know what we need to do if we're going to close out that game. We can't, we got to play the same defensively sound as we did before. We can't be giving them any chances to get into the box. We know the calls aren't going to go our way. Doesn't matter if we're home or not. I feel like the calls aren't going to go our way. And, who knows,
Yeah.
the worst can happen, right?
Um,
We've seen it time and time again.
Stan said here the transfer window will tell me everything. I agree. It will tell me, and you probably agree as well, Gary. The ambition of the owners. I need to know the owners' ambitions. Are they only spending enough to maintain Champions League, or will they invest enough to win stuff?
I thought I
Yeah.
already told you, and unless you don't believe him, you don't believe what Arteta said in terms of, uh, we're going to work internally on some of these problems that we have. And
Well,
he doesn't
if
usually
you're
allow.
listening, no, if you're listening to a manager that's leading up to a transfer window,
When it
and
comes
we're
to transfer, he's been pretty spot on. Whatever he's gonna, even if whatever he said, take it down a notch because he's not doing that.
they're
Right?
not going to
We're
show
gonna
your
go
hand.
big,
They're not
big,
going to
big,
show
big,
their
big. We don't
hands.
go big. We're gonna go. I think we're done. Guess what? We were done. Right? We're gonna go internally. Guess what? We're probably gonna go even worse than internally. We're gonna
We,
wait for Sterling to get healthy. We're not gonna find somebody new. We're just gonna hope what we got gets better.
I think we bring one forward in at least.
I hope you were right. I hope you get what you want.
Okay, because any manager that's telling you something before transfer window opens, take a huge grain, a pinch of salt with
No,
that one.
I hear you, but I just feel like you've seen see how have we worked in attracting attackers over the windows.
I believe we should be working on that all through the year.
Yeah, who haven't done so well.
Yeah.
When's the last attacker that's come in that you went, yeah, that's been working consistently, yeah, and it was our first choice.
Okay, the caveat of first choice.
Exactly. So we got like we
So I'm
wanted
gonna say
we wanted we
Trossard.
wanted Declan Rice. We went out and got Declan Rice, right?
Yeah.
That was our
Yeah.
first choice, only choice, right? In that window, right? So
Fair,
yes,
yeah.
we went out and got him, right? I believe Calafiori and Moreno were maybe their first choices. I don't think they were looking at others and it
Yeah.
failed.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
the summer is a lot
In
easier.
January, what happened, right? We're
Yeah.
looking for all these other players. We settled essentially for Trossard and Jorginho, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was one of our
Yeah.
first choices.
Um
Based on the players we were looking for. So we did good
and
on those ones, but like we need to sometimes hit on our first. Maybe Mudryk was a blessing in disguise, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah,
Without going into this in detail, Stan would still like Saliba to go for that ball in a similar situation. Does that
yeah.
make does this now make our defenders feel like more hesitant in the box or challenging for things? You know what I mean?
I think not. I mean, because I know. No,
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
Our players
we
just
saw
play, right?
we've seen players run at other play. We've seen the same head collisions happen in the mid in outside the box and not no foul given. So I kind of felt like that is like if it happens consistently, then I get it. Yes, but
We
like
saw it.
in
We
general, we don't.
saw it in the Newcastle Tottenham game
Mhm.
on Gordon Kulusevski on
He just
on
ran him
Gordon.
over and nothing was called. We've seen and
But as a head,
we saw Van Dijk run over Gordon in a previous season or a
yeah,
previous game and
yeah.
nothing was given. So it's not something that it's not a norm. That doesn't get called in the box. People are going to say, "Oh no, that didn't happen." No, they both happen in the box. Van Dijk ran over Gordon, nothing. Kulu ran over Gordon, nothing. The man was bleeding from his nose. They stopped the game, and no
It's nuts.
foul was given. No VAR decision was looked at and said, "I think you should look at this or anything." Right? Why? And then today I didn't realize that they can give a yellow from a VAR call. They gave a yellow on a VAR call today in that Fulham game on the penalty
Well,
on the penalty call.
they changed Saliba's yellow to a red in the Bournemouth game from
No, no,
VAR.
okay, I kinda get the yellow to the red, but I get nothing to a yellow, I don't get that. There was no
I
call made, it was VAR looked at it.
no,
VAR said there's a foul in the box, a yellow was given, and I'm like,
I
"How
went
can you
to
gi I didn't know you can give a yellow from a
yeah,
VAR, but that's what happened."
I went to Ireland to visit family over the holiday and talking to a taxi driver. Obviously, you're asking him, "Well, what's your team?" He's like, I don't watch Premier League football anymore. It's just the fun is gone from the whole thing because of there's no it's all open to interpretation. Everything's open to interpretation, you know. In other sports, there's more strict and defined lines that you cross or you don't cross. Anyway, Mr. Bungle, hope he said he'd been really unwell. We
Yeah,
knew
hope
he
you
was
feel
in the
better.
hospital
Yeah,
over
yeah.
Christmas, but now he's apparently home and getting better. So that is good news, Mr. Bungle. The worst situation for Mikel is having a fully fit squad with no injuries because then he'd have to actually make decisions.
I'm in agreement on that one. I don't think we make any changes unless we've got injuries. Like I call for rotation all the time, and I sometimes get upset with rotation when like nothing needs to change in my eyes. Anyways, I'm not the coach, so I don't
Yeah.
know. But like I feel sometimes when like a player hasn't performing well, that maybe we should rotate and we don't. And then when the players are performing well, then we rotate. And I'm like, all right, I don't get it sometimes. So
Yeah. He'd have to play right back instead of shoehorning Partey. And for example, this is one of the issues I said earlier. The fact that Thomas Partey is, because of Tommy Yasu's injury,
mm,
Thomas Partey is third choice right back now after Ben White and Timber. And that's a situation that has never looked good. Thomas Partey playing in that position. And
mm,
I didn't see the game
yeah, you didn't see the
yesterday.
game today.
And
Oh, yesterday you didn't see it. Okay,
thankfully, I didn't see the game, but people were
yeah.
saying Matoma would run around him.
Well, that's the
Um,
thing. I think Skelly has held up well
yes, been good.
against whoever he's played against. So we don't know that for sure. They would have given them better opportunities, maybe. We didn't. I don't think we got to see it. And they didn't score, because of that move.
So
So
did we? I know you probably saw the game yesterday,
hmm
right?
they
Did
did a
we
watch
have
along with Ryan.
did we have opportunities after scoring the first goal? Between the
Yeah.
first and second goal, did we have opportunities to go 2-0 up?
Okay. I don't feel like we did, and like, cause you know me, when I'm watching it and I'm sitting there
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah. We
please
didn't
go
get
get
the
that
second one
second
earlier.
goal.
Yeah,
Press for the second goal. Don't
yeah,
sit back. Don't give them as much possession on it. And we didn't do that like we
yeah.
always do. We always kind of like take a lead and then basically take our foot off the gas a little bit. And I felt like that happened. I felt we got punished
And
for it
we
again.
were, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like we were heading for a 1-0 win, but for the referee's intervention.
Yeah. But you know what? But that's because you keep giving them more possession, so they're going to get the balls in attacking areas on the pitch. And
Yeah.
eventually, they get the ball in the box, and that
So
happens. Right?
we were not controlled enough.
Not the way we were in the first half, where I
Yeah.
felt like we might be the only one to score. Right. All
Cheers,
right.
Tom. Thanks for being
Thanks,
here.
Tom. Yeah. No,
Don't
you
be
said.
late, Tom. Tom,
Yeah.
you're 90 seconds late, Tom.
Yeah, you saw the Stan's comment, and like I can only think about what player he's thinking about that
Rashford.
might bring in. So it's like
Rashford.
you as an Arsenal team, one like alone maybe, but you're
All
not
right.
bringing the
I'm
play
going to
in.
be, I know
Mm.
Stan's take on this. I'm going to say Rashford would improve us.
He's better than what he's. I think he's better than what we got. He's healthy, I
There you
believe.
go.
So
Not what Stan wants to hear.
But is he the answer? No. Like that better be like the end of the window kind of thing. That can't. That's got to be like a Sterling pick as
Won't be
well.
it can't be 300K a week either.
No. United's going to have to pay some.
Yeah.
United's going to have to pay some money
It does
on
seem
that.
like, yeah.
So no,
It does seem like a situation where they want to move him on. You know what I mean?
No, it probably is. He might, if he comes to Arsenal and he gets some playing time and he does some good things, it might be good for him. But that's got to be like the last straw. That's going to be like we've tapped every option that we have to bring in an attacker, and then we don't have anybody as Rashford available for 100K a week, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how that one should play out. If it's gonna play out, but it should be the last straw, the last option, like an hour before the window closes. We're gonna try to do this.
Yeah. Who would you target then? You're hearing some names, Gary.
There's lots of names, and I know some of them are unachievable, but you got to just go down your list. Isaac, you got to go down your list. Osman, you got to go down your list. Gukares, you got to go down your list.
Gotta keep going, Gary. Keep going.
Go down your list, but you gotta see if there are even options to bring these players in, or else what's the point? Like, why would you not go for your number one choice if there's a reason, if there's a way you can do that, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think Isak for 150 million. That's what they're quoting,
I would do
right?
that easily. I would do that easily. Yeah. Is it 100% guaranteed? Nothing's guaranteed, so I'm not gonna say that. But you got to try and do something better for your squad and get your team into that situation where they feel like this might be the answer, because we're dragging here.
You'd like to do it in the first part of the window, not the last part of the window.
As soon as possible, right? Like, make that call to Newcastle and say, "Here's the money. You want to take them?" And they go, "Yay or nay." Is there a way we can buy this player? And they go, "Yes, there is." And they go, "What is the number?" And they give you a number, and you like it, you take it, right? If they say it doesn't matter what you offer, we're going to say no, then that's not going to happen, right? So then, all right, okay, we'll take that as well, right? So then, but you have to make that call and see if there's a way. If there's no way, then you move on to your second choice, and then at least you've tried. But if you don't even try, you have nothing. You have nobody to fault but yourself.
We have 7 more games in this month, and then February, March, April, and May. So there's not a lot of season left here, and things have to change.
One game at a time, man. One game at a time. But as far as the window's concerned, they should be trying to get every player in that they can. Like, I mean, if there's the Danny Olmo situation, it's right now, he's not tied to any team. He is a free agent right now. If you make a play to him and he says no, then you've made the play, and he said no. He really wants to play for Barcelona, and Barcelona is going to do everything they can. Well, look, this is guaranteed. We're going to bring you in. Here's your salary for the next 4.5 years or whatever. You don't want it? All right.
Yeah.
If Rafinha is part of a situation that comes out, and that whole, because they need to either find the monies or sell players. Is Rafinha somebody we would bring in? I think so. All right. Yeah. He's cup tied and stuff like that. But I mean, we've got, we're still in for 3 trophies right now. Is Barcelona? Anybody think they're going to win the Champions League? Because that's the only thing you can't play in, right? But you make that call, right, and you do it. I think, and it's not just for and you bring in a Rafina. It's not just for this. These next
Yeah.
4 months. It's for
Well,
5, 6 months. It's also for what you do after that, right? So,
yeah.
I say go give yourself a chance, right? Go give yourself a chance. And the only way you give yourself a chance is you go out and get players that up your odds, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rafina will do it, and Alma will do it,
And like
Isak will
like
do
I
it.
was saying, we in the league alone, we've got another 18 games to go. Well,
Yeah.
the players that we have right now in the club, they could win us 12, maybe 10 to 12 of those games just by what we have. We need another player who can give us an X factor
Of
to win
three, and
those.
then that's good. And then you just draw the other ones, and you're all right, because
Yeah,
you know,
you need a player just to come in to be effective in 4 or 5 games, be
mm,
the difference maker in maybe 4 of those games, and that gets us to winning maybe 15 or 16 of those games
mm,
um, remaining. That will get us to, I'm thinking, anywhere north of 85 points will win the league this year. Probably 87, 88 points will do it. I don't think Liverpool or Arsenal will hit 90 now. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a long way to go, and this is the feeling we're having right now is the same feeling we had after losing to Fulham on New Year's Day and losing to West Ham 2 or 3 days before that. You know, um, here we are again on the same amount of points and not looking good. Um, we were that far. We were probably that far behind City. I can't remember, but I knew we were 5 points behind Liverpool um, at the time, and City were a factor. It's very unfortunate now that City are not a factor. Liverpool are doing what they're doing, and but maybe in some ways it's better to be the chasers. The pressure wise, you know what I mean? I don't know.
no, for sure, definitely, yeah, yep, 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 yep. No, I hear.
Um, we need the likes of Trossard. We need all the forward players to fill in what we're going to miss from Bukayo Saka. You know, and that's really it's going to be hard to answer that question. Can Martinelli, Trossard, Havertz, Odegaard, Waneri um, supply the goals that we're going to need across 4 competitions? You know, I think it starts with everybody getting free of that bug that's going around the camp right now.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we always have something, right? He's always got some challenge that we're gonna that's gonna come up, and
I feel
I
like that has to happen at other clubs as well.
yeah.
Other clubs have challenges. We just don't see it or care about other
Well,
clubs.
we definitely don't look in. We don't care about it because we're not. That's not our team. But I assume all teams go into this illness thing at this time of year. So I kind of
Yeah.
felt like, yeah, it's things you have to deal with, and that's why you have to have the depth in the squad to
How
handle
how
these things.
good how good can Ethan Waneri be? I mean, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. I think Craig said something. He's special.
No, I think he's yes. I think like when they when they're looking for goals or whatever, yes, he should be the man to go out there and do it. So I kind of felt like, yeah, that's the player you go with, right? So yeah, no, I think he can be good. I don't. We'll have to figure out what his position is, what role he would play. Like, will he start for Arsenal? You know, and if he does, where would he start? Um, yeah.
All right, since
So
we're doing this, let's go through the whole team since you sort of saw it, the players yesterday.
yeah.
Talked about Ethan Waneri. Let's do the forwards. And what was Gabriel Jesus? Is the Christmas the holiday sheen gone off of him, or was he threatening
I
yesterday?
I mean, when you score 5 in 2 games, it's is it that's not. It's give him more games before we figure out whether this purple patch was a purple patch or whether he's
Okay.
back. Right? I mean, he scored 6 goals in 4 games and 6 goals in 5 games. I think it is now.
Yeah.
Um, let him play. Let it play, see out and give him another five
Wow.
games, and then we'll see where we're at. If we're at
Thanks.
5 games and he's only
But
scored the six,
do
but I
you want
expect
Kai Havertz
six
back?
in 10 games isn't a bad turnaround, right?
No,
So
no, no. Yeah.
so I
Do you
kind of
want
felt like
Kai?
yeah.
Do you want Kai restored for Tuesday if you can?
If Kai is healthy and ready to play, then yeah, he
Yeah.
should be definitely. I don't want to play him in midfield, but I rather.
No, we'll play him up
Well,
front.
but yeah, I don't know. Like, was there something and is for me also the case might be that Jesus probably maybe not able to give you back to back games, and maybe it is good to have him come out maybe for the
Yeah.
Crystal Palace and maybe play
We
for the
you
United
said
game if you feel like you know what because think also about it what how much can Kai give you when he comes back? Is
wow.
he back healthy?
You
Right?
said we know what Newcastle will give us,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You're talking about the physicality of Newcastle. I would
Yep.
suspect, right?
Yep. Yep.
Jesus might not be suited for that physicality.
I don't think Kai Havertz is either. So I don't even think that's like,
He's
well,
more
yeah,
durable. I feel he's more
that's a better
durable.
answer. But I don't. I feel like if you don't get a hand on Jesus, then yeah, he might be able to get something out of it as well. So I kind of felt like between the two of them, you don't have the perfect specimen of a player, anyways.
Hmm.
So
All
I
right.
kind of felt like you
Uh,
get the best of both worlds and try each of them and see. Like if Jesus is out there making
yeah,
those
and
center backs run around for a bit, and then Kai
it
comes
might
in late,
be
right?
those two that tandem would be maybe a candidate for splitting minutes as well
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
game as well if Kai Havertz is not fully free of that bug.
yeah.
Uh,
And you know what we see? Look at what you saw from Erdogan. He wasn't fully back, right?
mhm.
Right,
And
and so he didn't look
I
like
I expected him to start scoring by now. You know what I mean? And
he's
still
not
it
well.
hasn't
And he's
happened.
not healthy from coming back from an injury, and
Yeah,
so he hasn't really he hasn't recovered from that, right? And because he's not giving you like he came off the bench, right?
yeah.
And so if he was healthy, like fully healthy, I think we might have saw something different because we've seen him had glimpses, right? He came back and came off the bench. We saw
I
everything
would
open up,
say,
right? Right.
mhm.
And then we've like so he's he fully back? I don't think so because also he doesn't press the way he used to, right?
Yeah,
The press
yeah.
isn't the same. So when he puts the press on, yes, good things happen.
I
But in
think
general, it's not the same.
I think Mikel has understood not to force the situation when it comes to a player who's
Yeah.
on the and borderline, right?
Yeah.
Whereas maybe in the past years he would have forced the player.
Well, he may
Or
have forced him by putting him on the pitch in the first place, right? He
yeah,
may not even be ready for that.
okay. Trossard yesterday, Gary.
Um, it's what's different than usual from him when he starts. He's going to give you glimpses, but is he good as a starter for Arsenal? And I think the answer for that is no. Is Martinelli good for as a starter for Arsenal? I think the answer for that is no as well. So
Okay.
I think between the two of them, they're not starters for Arsenal.
They
So
give us more
yeah,
questions than answers, both
yes.
of them. Yeah. Declan Rice then.
I
He was
think
right.
he
He
was.
played
I think
right.
yeah, he played. I think he played okay yesterday.
Okay.
I don't necessarily feel like he has poor games. He might be out of position and he doesn't do all the things you want, but in general, I don't think he's like hurting us as much as some of the other players are when he's on the pitch. So
Mhm.
I kind of felt like, would I rather him be playing the preferred position? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, number
Yeah.
six, right? You'd like
Yeah.
him number six,
I
right?
think he's a number 6 for us long term. So, and if he's not, then he's a double pivot with Partey, and maybe that's how you work that, because then
Yeah.
as opposed to trying to play him as an 8. So I kind of felt like
Mikel.
Rice is not as I don't think he holds us back as much as some of the other players when they play out of position.
He certainly hasn't hit the heights of last
Yeah.
season, though. I think he's
No, and
struggling.
this is a different season. I don't think he ever got back from like mentally and
Summer.
physically. I don't think he got back from the summer games,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
So
Agreed.
I think we rushed. I think we might have rushed him back, and he never got really the recovery he needed. Yeah,
Mikel Mikel Marino yesterday.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What about Mikel Marino? Your
Uh,
thoughts on him?
Yeah, I kind of gone back and forth with Sam on this one. I don't know like what it is. What does it look like when he's playing well, and
Is
what
he
we're
that
seeing?
type of player that you just don't see it?
Yeah, I don't
He's
see it. And like,
effective, but you
what
don't
does it
see it.
look like when he does that for Arsenal?
Yeah.
Like
I thought he
supposedly
played well against Brentford. I thought
he's
he played
supposedly
well
good
against
in the
Brentford.
air and all of this. He's so nothing, so he's
He
good in the
wins the
air.
ball back. You have to
Mm,
look for him to win the ball back. You might not see a lot
mm.
other things. The
But
way
like,
we
yeah,
penned Brentford
yeah,
in, the way we penned the pressure in on Brentford, he was kind of instrumental in that. I can't speak to Brighton. I didn't see that game.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I guess I don't look at the game that way. If I go back and I watch, maybe I'll see it. But when I'm watching the game live, I'm not seeing that. It's 2 minutes. I'm looking at different things, and I guess for me, I'm looking at because the only thing that really matters to me right now is how are we doing on the attacking side.
Yeah.
Because I feel like our defense, I don't really have a concern there. Nobody's scoring 2 goals on us. I mean, I'm going to probably knock on wood now, but we're pretty sound on the defensive side,
You
right?
better knock on wood. Yeah.
So so I don't I'm not too concerned about that part. It's the going forward part
Yeah.
that I'm concerned about. Like, how do
Yeah.
we get the 2 goals
That's
that I think we need?
Yeah, that's the thing that I voiced my concern about earlier before you joined me as well. We can beat Crystal Palace 5-1, but we can only beat Ipswich 1-0.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like a tap. You don't know what force the tap is flowing
yeah,
at. And I'd like the tap to be consistently warm, not hot or cold.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you're having a shower, you want that nice balance, right?
Mm.
Um, okay, Jorginho.
I think as some people have said that the situation was too much for him. It wasn't the right situation for him in terms of game,
Is
game
it?
situation. But I also don't. I think we're asking him sometimes to do too much. We're like, he's your third option. So
Mm,
when you're going to your third option as a six, you've done something wrong, and we're not, and we're playing the other 2 6s as well. So it's
mm.
not even that the other 2 6s are injured. No, they're playing as well. You got 3 of your 6s all on the pitch at the
Due to
same time.
injuries.
So you're asking him to do something he can't do
Yeah,
on it like that in that kind of situation. Like your midfield as it is isn't really setting you up for success.
yeah,
A Moreno, Jorginho, Rice midfield isn't one that I think poses like
yeah. I
fear
looked at that. Yeah,
in other teams in terms of
we're
look, we're in trouble here. We're going to
yeah.
be run over. They're going to
I
be they're going to be scoring at will against us because of this. That doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
I looked at that, Gary. I saw the lineup. I was like, oh no, Odegaard and these three players in midfield. Well, it's a workman-like midfield, but is it going to be creative enough?
yeah.
And then
And
I saw
we're
one.
not even creative with Erdogan there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I,
So like when you take him off, then what are you saying? You're like, we are not really trying to score here. We're going to win
yeah.
this thing.
I thought from the
No.
lineup that we would struggle to score with Jesus there and Mari and Trossard. So,
Well, and
um,
where he just you get the ball to Nweri, and like some people are like, why didn't he pass it? He takes the shot. I kind of feel like that's what we're missing. Like, yeah, take the
yeah.
shot, and then worry about whether you should have made the
You
pass
need that
later.
balance. Yeah. You need some people say you need the balance of a player who's going to look for that pass, but you also need the killer in there that's
Yeah.
going to take
When
the
you get in
shot.
the box, you should be looking to score.
Yeah.
Like unless they really put like I think today, Bradley took a shot and Onana got a hand on it, and people are like, but Salah was right there. I'm like. And then tomorrow, when he passes to Sally, you're like, well, you should have taken a shot. Then
Yeah.
when is he supposed to take the shot? He actually made a really good play to put himself in a situation to go
Yeah.
1-on-1 with the goalkeeper.
Yep.
And now you're selling him, you should make the pass. Wait, whoa, whoa,
Well,
whoa.
Salah, yeah, he's all when you don't score, you're going to get that from a teammate
Yeah, yeah,
when you don't score.
yeah. But if
What
Salah takes the shot and misses it wide, everybody's okay. And it's like, dude, I could have done that too.
Yeah.
But you know
And
what? When a fullback or a wing back or whatever, I don't know what position he's playing, but when he takes that shot, the goalkeeper may not think he's going to take it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But when
That's
Salah
it.
takes it, you know it's coming. Yeah,
You saw the keeper was slightly off his line and had to put his arm out to block that one
yeah,
from going in near post. Um, get back to Brighton real quick, Gary, and then we'll
mm,
talk about the back four.
mm.
But what kind of Brighton turned up? Was it a physical Brighton and they started to rack up the pressure on us?
I
Was it like a frenetic kind of pressure that we
Well,
succumbed to?
they had a lot of what I would call some of their players on the bench, right? I mean, they didn't start as strong as they could have. Matoma didn't start for them. I mean, y- Joe Pedro was the only name I knew. Every Garuda, O'Reilly, and I
Yeah,
guess a Gringay. He's I know the names there, but not they didn't.
Adringa. Yeah,
They didn't, as far as I'm concerned, come with like a lot of their, the big
household names.
names.
Yeah,
Matoma didn't start. And I know Matoma usually starts for them, I believe. So I don't feel like they should have posed as much of a threat to us to our defense,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I don't.
Um,
I mean, and that's the problem with Brighton. I think no matter who they put out there, they usually have them set up in such a way that they play well, right? So they're going to come. The football is always going to be good, no matter what the name on the back of the shirt says.
yeah. Anything noteworthy to mention about our back five then, David Raya and the four defenders?
I think we played well. Like in general, we played well for most of the game. I mean, The fact that they got us, I think they got more shots than us, is I think more because we didn't take more shots. We didn't put ourselves in situations to score and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And eventually, the other side is gonna just take it upon themselves to maybe they should go and do it. Like they made subs and there are subs that came in where in fact to score more, right? They
yeah,
brought Matoma in for a Gringa that was for a scoring position, right? I think a lot of their moves got them going. When they made their subs, it got them
yeah,
going and it got them some fresh legs. We didn't sub to get ourselves to get a second goal, right? Um, and Wary was off at halftime because of an injury. Even though I think a lot, I mean, at the time we were all like, "Why are we pulling the only person that's probably going to score for us today?" Right?
yeah. There was
That's,
some conjecture about that. Yeah,
but it
he
was
got a
off
yellow.
supposedly
He
for
got
an
a yellow card.
injury. It was off for an injury, but initially, yeah, everybody's thinking it was a yellow, and in reality, it was an injury because I don't think you pull him because of the yellow at halftime.
No.
Maybe 67 minutes gone in the game. Maybe you pull him because of the yellow card. But at halftime, I don't think you do it for the yellow card. Like if you
Yeah,
think about it in reality, if you think
tradition.
about
And Mikel usually does not do that. You can say a lot of things about him, but he wouldn't. He wouldn't substitute a player just because of the yellow card.
yeah, yeah.
Even when you're begging for him to
Well, yeah,
do that.
yeah. Like if Zinchenko has a yellow card late in the game, I'm like, no, take him
Yeah,
out. He won't do it. And I'm like,
it's a
okay.
liability.
So
I
this,
think he did it one time to Ben White, but he's also short of fitness, and sort of Ben White split time with
mhm,
maybe another defender for that one, Kivior maybe.
yeah,
Um, Craig said we should have signed players in the summer window like Ruiz, Olmo, Olise, Eze, Jokers, or Usman. Yeah, I like I said earlier, none of us will sit here. We wouldn't have sat there in August and told you we got a 10 out of 10 window.
yeah.
None of
Some
us were
people said
happy.
we got what we wanted, got what we needed, and that
None of
also
us would have
doesn't.
said that. We
Some
would
people said that, but not probably us in
no.
this chat, but some
We
of the
had
other.
varying degrees of rating system, but nothing was a 9 or a 9.5. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
I don't
sevens.
think we got what we want, what we needed. So
No, no,
we got it
unfortunately.
because we didn't need Calafiori, we didn't need Moreno. I mean, we needed to sign the goalkeeper. That was the only, you know, because we that's how we set up we set up the loan so we could
Yeah.
purchase him in the summer. So that's what we did.
All right. So listen, I think we should sign off here,
Mm, mm,
Gary.
mm.
Um, what else should we look for the rest of the month? Now we go into
Let's get the next 3 wins and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
That's
Usually you're just the next game kind of
yeah,
person.
yeah. We got these 3 big games that we
Yeah.
need to win all of them. So we need to come into each game with a. I don't care what the lineup is, but they all should be set up so that we can win. We can take
I'm
advantage of the offense and kind of take advantage of our defense. Right? Teams shouldn't be able to score on us, so we should be trying to take advantage of that and try to get some scores, multiple
I,
scores in the
I
games.
don't think we win the tie in the first leg against Newcastle. Like we're
I
not
don't.
gonna win
I
4
think
0.
then we lost is kind of how I feel. We
I
have to
mean,
win that game. We cannot go
no,
into.
I'm saying we can take a win, but I don't think we're gonna win 4 or 5-0.
Oh no! We
You know what
need
I
to
mean?
have it. We need to win that game.
You need to
Right
take
now,
something to the
like
second
we
leg.
cannot go into that
Yeah,
game with a 1-1 draw. A 0-0 draw kind of thing.
yeah.
We need to
It'll be a
go
bit
in with a
dodgy.
win. They need to come
Some
and get us to some degree at some point.
some
Like
kind of a win,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
2-1, 3-1,
Yeah.
2-0, something like
Yeah.
that.
I always like joking. I say 3-1 and stuff, but Newcastle has shown the best we might do is a 2-1 against them. So
Yeah. And then Amarim and Manchester United join us at the Emirates next Sunday.
yeah, yeah. They had a good
Just
game
win.
today, but you know we need to win as much as they probably need to win. But we're the better squad, so they're gonna have to come get it and take
You
it
know
from us.
who else? You know who else needs to win, and we'll finish with this one, but he's not going to get it. Ange Postecoglou needs a win.
When they come into our place. No. See, and that's the thing. So for me, you're playing 3 important games. You have to win all 3.
Hmm.
Anything less than that, and you're potentially out of any or all chances to win a domestic trophy.
Yeah.
You fall 9 points back of Liverpool, and they have a game in hand. It's not good,
I think
right?
Liverpool fans are regretting wanting to play this game today. I
Yeah.
think
There's
they
a plus and
should.
minus to it, right?
Yeah.
This will either keep them engaged to play better in the remaining games, or it could come back to haunt them, right?
Yeah.
Through a
They
bad
they would have
start
had
in a
to.
game against Manchester United, who's like, well, we can punish them even more if we get something out of
I
this game.
also I also think maybe the Liverpool management and the Liverpool club wanted to push for the game to be played because of fixture fixture
That
congestion
as well. Yeah.
at the end of the season. Like it or not, we all start the season at the same time and finish the season at the same time.
Exactly. So
So
you got to squeeze those games in.
Liverpool do not get special dispensation for that.
Yeah, and I
All
think
right,
the
Gary.
other. Yep. All right, sir.
We'll leave it there. Listen, we were a little bit down yesterday with that result. Referees seem to judge Arsenal at a different criteria than other teams. That's all I'll say about that. But we were hardened by Manchester United and Liverpool and Andy Robertson not playing really well as well, with Liverpool dropping 2 points. Thanks for joining me today, Gary.
Yep, sir.
Always appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us. Yeah.
No, good. Take care, everyone.
All right.
We will be back. Bye.
Mhm.